Busch Gardens Tampa is, in my opinion, one of Florida's best theme parks. There's so much to offer, the park is absolutely gorgeous, and it makes the drive out of Orlando to get there worth it. So today I'm going to be giving my full thoughts on this park. I've only been here once. I went during August of 2017, so keep in mind I'm just basing it off of one visit. Couple of notes before I get going. Both Cobra's Curse and Sand Serpent were down that day, so I did not get to ride all the coasters. And I think just in general, when you only visit a park for one day, it kind of makes it hard to do everything that everyone loves and raves about. Like, I only got to see part of a show, I didn't get to do the sky ride, but I did get to hit a lot of the other major attractions. So just keep that in mind as I'm discussing this. Now, one of the things everyone raves about with this park, much like the Williamsburg Park, is just the overall natural beauty. Everything from the way all of the buildings are designed, the architecture is very nice, and also there's tons of palm trees. The landscaping is fantastic. It really is a well-designed park. I will say, as a first-time visitor, I thought the layout was a little funky. Like, for the most part, I didn't have a problem finding where things were. I got my feel of the lay of the land. But there were a couple times where I did get a little turned around. And I think that just comes with time, you know, the more you visit, the more you're going to understand it and whatnot. Because the park is pretty big. I mean, especially if you take in the safari, which I thought was so cool. I mean, I love the fact that you can be at Cobra's Curse or Montu and see all of these animals. Like, that's just way cool to me. Like, you see giraffes, you see people in trucks feeding the giraffes, which is going to be an upcharge attraction, but all of the guests can actually take the train around the park, and that's how most of you are going to be able to see the safari, which I thought is awesome. That's the thing that I thought Busch Gardens Tampa did much better than Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and that was the animals. Towards the front right side of the park, you get to see so many different animal exhibits, and a lot of them are kind of tucked away. Like, there's all these small paths just leading around to where you can see all of this wildlife. And it's really cool. I really enjoyed doing that. This truly is one of those parks that is not all about the rides. Busch Gardens Tampa is about experiences, and boy, do they have lots of them. So many different opportunities, so many things to see, so many things to do. And it made it nice when you're not looking to ride something big or, you know, terrifying. You can take a minute, relax, and look at the animals. I love that. All of the animal exhibits I thought were very nice. And even at some points, we got to see the animals getting fed. And that's just awesome. Like, that's so entertaining. They have a whole kangaroo exhibit where you can go and pet kangaroos. I'd never pet a kangaroo before. I didn't know that was a thing, but Busch Gardens Tampa, you can do it. That was actually the first thing I did when I was walking to the park. We were walking to Shikra, and I'm like, whoa, you can pet kangaroos? I want to do that. And so that was the first thing we did that day. It just shows that Busch Gardens Tampa, it really is a great place where you can bring the family. And also, the theming for this park was very well done. Of course, this is Busch Gardens Africa, so you get general African theme everywhere. And you can tell that Busch Gardens really likes to theme their attractions because every single ride, well, most every single ride, had some really nice theming to go along with it. Now, obviously, not every park is perfect. I thought one of Busch Gardens Tampa's downsides is that they do have several closed attractions that are just kind of sitting there, and it's an eyesore, really. You have their boat ride that's still sitting there. Gwazi's probably the biggest eyesore that I saw. I didn't realize that you could see it from so many different vantage points. And so I can't even imagine, like, the guests who are visiting for the first time and think that that ride is actually open because it's just in there. And so they're like, oh, of course it's open. Why wouldn't it? And like Busch Gardens Williamsburg, the food here is also very good. We had this great meal plan where, as part of a one-day ticket, you can get this dining option that allows you to eat every hour and a half. And that was a fantastic deal. As a family of four, we pretty much just let one person get food all the time, and then we just split it between us. It was awesome. Can't recommend that enough. In my opinion, there's just as much to do at a park like this as a park with, like, Cedar Point, you know, that has tons of roller coasters. It's because Busch Gardens Tampa balances out with attractions that aren't necessarily big rides. You can just walk around Busch Gardens Tampa and have a great time, not ride anything, and just take in all the sights and sounds. And unfortunately, the smells, that is an issue, especially when you're like by the elephants. Oof, man, they stink. But I mean, that's expected when you have all these animals, is that, yeah, some of them are going to smell. Now, as for my favorites at Busch Gardens Tampa, my favorite exhibit was watching the lions, though that is a hard one. I did enjoy watching a lot of other animals. My favorite area was Pantopia. My favorite ride at Busch Gardens Tampa was Falcon's Fury. Favorite coaster was Kumba. Yes, I thought Falcon's Fury was the best ride at Busch Gardens Tampa. So to just kind of wrap things up, should you visit Busch Gardens Tampa? I don't even think that should be a question. Absolutely yes. I would say this is a must visit. If you are a coaster enthusiast, if you're in Florida, if you're anywhere close, they have some really great rides here, and they balance it out with some other amazing attractions that, in my opinion, don't get talked about enough. I always hear about the coasters, but I never hear about some of these other experiences, and so that's why I've been talking about them so much. I think there's a lot of must-dos that not everyone is going to know about. A lot of hidden gems. So I really enjoy this park. I know this is a lot of people's favorite park. Because I've only been here once, I don't know for sure if this is like one of my all-time favorite parks. It's kind of tough to say since I've only been once and I'm comparing it to parks that I've been to like dozens of times. So that just doesn't seem very fair to me to put it on that like same level. But comparing it to parks that I've also been only once, I would say yes, this is one of my favorites. So that's going to wrap it up for this review of Busch Gardens Tampa in Florida. Let me know if you've been here, what you think of it. Do you agree with all my thoughts? You can post all that down in the comment section below, and of course stay tuned for more park reviews coming soon to Coaster Studios.